Hi, my name is Jonathan Sarine, and I'll be sharing some things about wireless network security. It's an adaptation on my group's recommendation paper. And for an overview, we'll start talking about why we need to worry about this. Why worry about wireless network security? To start, it's a huge risk. You can think about how many people have Wi-Fi in their homes and all of the data that can be accessed if that wireless network is compromised. You have photos, banking information in your web browsing history. Maybe you have passwords stored in Google Chrome that will become more accessible if your wireless network is compromised and someone's able to access. There's a risk of being you don't have your privacy. All that is exposed. And to move on, it's a great vulnerability. Wi-Fi is a lot easier to hack. It's like the difference between telling secrets to somebody on a closed circuit, just like through a telephone, or telling secrets in a room full of people. A wired connection is that closed circuit between two computers communicating, and a Wi-Fi connection is the router telling the secrets in an open room out in public. So it's much easier to access that data and do what's called a man-in-the-middle attack, where the hacker will be in between and get the information from the router and from the computer and be able to manipulate that signal in whatever they want to. So it's a big vulnerability. It's easy to hack. Our recommendations: prevent and deter. So you want to make your Wi-Fi invisible. One thing you can do is hide your SSID, or your service set identifier. That's the name that your Wi-Fi has. So like when you go to a Starbucks and your Wi-Fi, the Starbucks internet shows up, there's actually a way in your settings to make it to where that's invisible. So it will kind of serve as a deterrent to anybody that might be looking for Wi-Fi to hack. You can also limit access to certain people. You do this by MAC filtering, which is a media access control filtering. So what you're able to do is instead of just allowing anybody to sign on with credentials to your internet, if they are able to find it, you can specify that only this MAC address, only this computer or device that has Wi-Fi enabled can access your internet. So it would make it a little bit less convenient at home to, when your friends come over, figure out their MAC address, and then change your settings to allow that person to sign on. But if you're not expecting a lot of company, having all your devices enabled with your router and cleared ahead of time will prevent any other MAC address from accessing your Wi-Fi connection. So that's a huge way to deter and prevent. Again, it doesn't make it impossible to hack your Wi-Fi, but it still is a huge help. And another thing that most routers will do is encrypt the connection for you. And there's always new levels of encryption coming out. Right now, the standard is WPAK2, which is better than the previous versions, which are now easily hackable, just because processors are faster and the bit length that they were using to encrypt was a lot shorter, and now it's greater in size, so it's harder to hack it. It takes longer, and that serves as a deterrent as well. If it's longer to hack, it takes longer to hack, and the hacker might not have the resources to be able to do that efficiently, and will just give up. And if they do hack you, there's always ways you can mitigate the damage. One thing you can do is encrypt your local hard drive. A lot of operating systems allow you to encrypt your files, and so if somebody were able to get onto get access to your hard drive, they wouldn't be able to easily view it. So if they were able to get there, that might serve as a deterrent as well. Again, they can work on decrypting it and figuring out. It just depends on how determined the threat actor is. But that's something you can do to mitigate that damage. And then, of course, you can back up all your files. So if your files are compromised and they're deleted, you'll have a backup somewhere. And there's plenty of services that allow you to do that. So just to wrap up, there's a lot of cost-effective ways to prevent Wi-Fi attacks. Basically, all those that I mentioned are cheap or free. Another less expensive thing you can do is to always keep your hardware updated. If your router doesn't offer the most modern way of encrypting data, you could become more vulnerable. So you always have to keep your hardware updated to be able to thwart any attack that may come. All right, and so that was a little presentation on wireless network security, and I hope you enjoyed. Thank you.